It's great to be back on Radio Works, and I've been looking forward to catching up with you and your listeners. My name is Tom Barber, and we've got some really good content to bring you today about some new programs that we've been rolling out and testing, and the results we're getting from them. So I'm really excited to be here, and it's great to catch up and speak with you again, Marina. Hello. Hello, Marina.
Yes, I think we have a connectivity challenge, but we are going to turn that into a great advantage for our listeners, which means I'm going to mute myself and you are going to carry on sharing the wisdom you keep in your heart and the knowledge our listeners need. Over to you, Tom.
Okay, great. All right. So, yeah, as I said, over the last few episodes, we've been sharing with you some of the different concepts around the programs that we run. We looked at the Think solution and also the Mind Master method, and these programs have been sort of developed over many years of trial and error, really, with clients and with groups, and really seeing what works, because we've got just a huge amount of knowledge in terms of psychological methods and coaching methods, because that's what we've been doing for the last 25-30 years. So yeah, I mean, today I wanted to really share with you something it's a new program that we've been testing out and rolling out over the last year or so, and it's kind of a way, if you like, for those people that are wanting really to take back control of where their life is heading. With the Think experience, in a sense, when we talked about that before, the concepts in there they're quite complex. And so we wanted to really try and test out something that was simpler and quicker to grasp, and was for people that really were, if you like, just entering into the personal development field. And so we wanted to present concepts that they could relate to, rather than something that was a little bit more technical or psychology based. So we developed what we call Power on Purpose. And as with all of our programs, we looked at what worked and the order it worked in. And we decided that there were certain things that we did with clients and groups that if we did them in the wrong order, then they simply wouldn't have the same effect. So we looked at the order of growth that we found that the people we worked with tended to respond best to. And we put it into this program, Power on Purpose. And so there are 5 specific areas that once we start in this sequence, if you like, and we build up, then really big changes can happen just from absorbing these ideas and putting into practice the techniques and the methods through each of the steps that we employ to make the changes that are necessary. So in terms of Power on Purpose, so we started really with the whole area of potential. And we found that when people came to see us, and when they came on our personal development weekends, it was kind of like they were looking for something, but they were starting from a place almost of being blind. One of the questions that's most interesting when I ask people is, so what do you want? And very much almost with nearly every person that I work with, what they will tell me is what they don't want. So we thought, okay, this seems to be a bit of a sticking point. So one of the first things that we need to do really is to help people become aware of what their potential is in their current situation. Because unless you know what your potential is, then you don't know really sort of what the next step to take is. So there's a need really to first of all know what your capacity is to develop into something that you want to be. Because you need really to, before you plan and activate anything, to know what your strengths are, to know who you are, and to know where you've come from and the place that you're at now. And in a way, what this does is it gives the knowledge to know what's possible. It really can inform you of what your purpose is and what choices are available to you. So the very first step that we discovered is that it was important to examine what that person's current abilities are, and really to introduce you to the possibilities. Because we've spoken about this before on previous programs, that when you start to introduce the notion of possibilities, it's really important to know where you're starting from. And so what this does is it can start to connect you with your significance, a connection to yourself, and the awareness that actually you're much more than you probably realized, that you've done more than you realized, that you've achieved more than perhaps you give yourself credit. And so from that place, then there's more of a connection, an appreciation of then finding your purpose and what your mission in life is, so that you can live it to its maximum. So we started there, and we tested out this program. We put it out with individuals, we put it out with large groups, and we really found that starting with getting clarity around your current potential really then set up a desire to take the next step, and an awareness of what you really were capable of doing. Because I believe that most people have really no real true awareness of their capabilities, and we're, as human beings, we have just the most incredible capabilities, and most of the time, it's either pushed out of us, or it's drummed out of us, or educated out of us in a lot of cases. Just watching television, reading the newspapers, listening to the radio, so often what we really are capable of is dampened down. And we could get into a whole program about that, in terms of why it's important that people aren't too powerful, but maybe that's for another day. So we connected with the potential first of all. So the next step then really was, okay, this is what I can do, so this is what I've done, and these are the capabilities I have, this is the potential I've got. So okay, what am I going to do then? What am I going to do now? And very much in a sense, if you don't know really where you're going, then you'll end up somewhere, but you might not have really wanted to get there, because you never had a plan. You never really devised an outcome of what you wanted. It reminds me of this wonderful piece from Alice in Wonderland, the Lewis Carroll Alice in Wonderland, where Alice meets I think it's the Cheshire Cat, and she says, "Would you tell me please which way I want to go from here?" She's on the road. And the cat says, "Well, that depends a good deal on where you want to get to." And she says, "I don't really care too much where." And the Cheshire Cat says, "And it doesn't really matter which way you go." So it's a wonderful analogy, really, of if you don't know where you're going, it doesn't really matter what you do. So it's important to have an outcome. An outcome is the next step. We wanted really to connect people with, all right, a plan. And this is one of the things that gets so often overlooked in therapy and coaching, is unless you have a goal, then you're not exciting the mind at a variety of levels. You're not exciting the conscious, the unconscious, the subconscious mind as to really why you should do anything. Human beings can be quite lazy at a psychological level. So it's really important that we have a set outcome that we want to achieve, because you need to know what you want in life, right? You need to know what you want to experience and how you want to be. Otherwise, that change and growth isn't going to happen. Something's going to happen, but this will enable you to choose what that is. When you have a defined outcome of what matters to you and what you want, then you can choose, you can have a life of choice. And that creates certainty. And you know, I'm sure your listeners have heard Tony Robbins talk about the importance of certainty, and that we know how things are, and that certainty really, it helps us feel sure, it helps us feel alive. In the same way, we also need a degree of uncertainty, but you know, this in a sense, we want to connect with an excitement of where we're going, not an excitement of not knowing what on earth is going to happen. So in a sense, really, these defining of the outcome, really, it helps people get to know what their sense of success is as well, and happiness. You know, I speak to so many people and I say, so what do you want? And they say, well, you know, I want to be happy. And well, what is that? You know, because I've learned something, certainly over the last few years, that, you know, happiness and success for people are very, very different things. You know, they're very unique things. They're very personal things. You know, I've met people doing jobs that some would consider to be an awful job, but you know what, they're incredibly happy doing it. And you know, this for them is success. So it's really defining what matters to you and what's important for you to achieve, and what you want to do with your life. Until you have an outcome, then really sort of you're shooting around in the dark. So that really, you know, with the people we worked with, really set them up for, you know, for the ability then to tap into what was possible. You know, they got connected what their potential was. They decided and started to work on what outcome they wanted in life. And in a way, this kind of opens you up to having more of a trust in yourself. And the next part of the program then was really for us starting to go inwards, into the person, into their wisdom, and beginning to get connected to that person's wisdom. Because in a way, when you know your potential and you have the outcome, you need to open up to something a little bit more, a little bit deeper than that. And you need to connect to something that's going to guide you on your way. So when you connect with this inner wisdom that we all have, in a sense, what you're doing is you're connecting with your good judgment and your inner knowledge, and there you can really then know how to create the outcomes and use your potential. So it opens you up really to more than just what you're doing, into what you are and what you can be. You know, I work in the city here in London, and I meet so many people that, you know, they're working in very, very high-powered jobs. You know, they're earning astronomical amounts of money, and you know, they just feel like they're lost. You know, the money becomes irrelevant. You know, there's plenty of studies that tell us, you know, you get to a certain level of income, and really after that, it doesn't really make a huge difference to your levels of happiness. I think one of the studies I read said it's around about $70,000 or £70,000. I can't remember. And after that, really, you know, there's not a great deal that you're going to want for. And so most people after that, money doesn't make a huge difference. Now, I mean, that's different, I'm sure, for different people, and different people have different wants and needs. And, you know, some houses and cars are more expensive and bigger than others. But in essence, it doesn't take a great deal to make most human beings happy. And so, in a way, we start to move the person from often a lifetime of learning and a lifetime of absorbing the messages and the suggestions around them. And here we begin to move from limited to limitless. Because most people, they do think in terms of limited and boundaried. And in a sense, when you connect with your wisdom, then so much becomes open and so much becomes available. So here we begin to connect with some sense of clarity. And in that, you've found your potential, you've got the outcome. When you connect with wisdom, then it's incredible, the kind of problem solving strategies that someone can connect with. Because, the path of happiness and the path of success, whilst I said that it's not really about the amount of money you got, in a sense, life does throw you curveballs, right? You have things happen. It's part of life. And we have to get through often a lot of problems, and really overcome hurdles to get to where we want to be. It reminds me, I was watching something this morning, and it was talking about this whole notion of overnight success. And the person that was speaking on this clip said, yeah, I am an overnight success, but it took me 15 years to become an overnight success. And it's this, this whole notion of getting connected to something really that is enabling you to get through the hurdles, to get through the problems, to go round and under and over and through, and just take it on, because this is part of the journey. So really here, you start to gain a real steadiness and a firm grasp with you, and this is how your confidence begins really to grow, because it's about connecting and having like if you like a line of connection to your inner truth. Your conscious mind will throw up all sorts of things, but once you're connected more to your inner truth, life feels more steady. When you get problems come along and hurdles, then you're able just to take them on as part of the experience, as part of the process, as part of the journey of getting to where you want to be. So this area was when we were going through the methods and the techniques with people, and especially the groups. It was such a powerful part of the Power on Purpose program, because when people begin to visibly connect with their sense of inner wisdom and their intuition and the deeper insights that they have, and then the questions that they're asked, the energy really that comes out of them, it's amazing. It's infinite, and it's just a really special experience to be a part of, especially in a group. But we really wanted to get this out to as many people as possible, because we love helping people, we love helping groups, we want to help more. So the reason that we've been testing this program live in events and one-on-one with clients really is to see, okay, how can we put together something that can be turned into a set of methods, a set of techniques that anyone can use to reconnect them with their inner power. And the program that we're working on at the moment is something that we're gonna be rolling out over the next few months online, because it's important that we get the message out there. It's important that people really know that there is a way, and there's a clear, structured way, and that we speak to so many people that are wanting to get success in their business and in their relationships, in their health, with their weight, or with their mental health, and they're shooting around in the dark, and they're trying different things, like the shiny object syndrome. And we know, because we've done the work, we've done the research, and we have the experience with the people, that there is a way that can be structured, and you can go from step to step, and it will make a difference. And so the next step that we then moved into really was helping people unleash this incredible energy. That seemed to it was amazing, especially watching it in a group, because in groups everything is just because you have 20 people in a group, it doesn't make it 20 times more powerful than one. It almost it grows and grows, and it becomes 100 times more powerful. And so the energy in the room then, in the the courses that we've run, it was so powerful. And so this is great, but in a way, this needs managing, because we also have seen, and I've talked about working in the city with with people in the financial world, but we also work in London with a lot of people that are in the creative arts, and we also work with a lot of people that are very high achieving sport in the world of sport. And getting connected at this level is great, but it's so important to be able to not just unleash the energy, but to harness it. And so in this managing process, what this does is it brings to the fore really the importance of resilience. And when you realize how much resilience you have, and that when you're able to harness this energy, that this brings with it a real sense of tenacity and strength and clarity, then this really helps you to put into action the plan, and the behaviors needed really to keep you on track, to keep you on an aligned path. This helps you get more time, more clarity. And there's one thing that I hear a lot of people talk about, especially in the personal development field, and this is how Tony Robbins, if you've ever been on one of his courses, or if you ever met that man, he has this almost unlimited amount of energy. He will start a day at 9 o'clock and he will be going till midnight, seemingly completely sort of still full of energy. And it's because he learned the power of harnessing energy. And we realized in working with creative and artistic clients and groups and people in the sports field, that one of the things we needed to do was to really help them harness their energy, so they could use it on a consistent and managed basis. So what this does then really, in a sense, is it helps you maintain a motivation. It helps you really maintain a motivation as to where you're going, because where you are, you've created an outcome, and you connected with something deep inside you, with your inner wisdom. But this part of the program where you unleash your energy is where you maintain the ability to keep going and keep applying all the techniques and the skills and the methods that you learn on the program on a consistent basis. And this does wonders for your motivation, and really it's quite a dynamic process. So once we've done that, then it kind of really, it was almost for people quite a serious realization that, do you know what, I can achieve the things I want to, and I do have the power, and I do have the capabilities, and I do have the clarity, and I do have the vision, and now I actually have the energy. And not just bursts of energy, but a steady, maintained, creative energy that flows on a constant basis. So that took us then into the final step of the Power on Purpose program. And this was, at this stage, and this was probably most moving of the whole process, is where we helped both the people we're working with and the groups really to embrace and take ownership of their recognition really of where they'd come from and what they were owning now, what they were capable of and what they could achieve. and to really know what it means to stand up and stand out and live life on your terms. And it's a real step towards feeling that significance that again Tony Robbins talks of. It's an important experience to feel significant in oneself and to feel significant amongst others as well. And in a way, you know, just thinking of a time when you felt significant can have a massive impact on your physiology and your psychology. And it's like you feel yourself stepping into a different place. You can experience the sensations of it and the feelings and the thought of knowing, which really it's eternal. There's no reason why that should stop once you've connected with it. So in a sense, what happened, and again, this is, you know, not something that it's not something that we decided was happening. It's something that we witnessed on the programs and we witnessed happening within people. And they told us as well that there was really an acceptance of self-belief and self-worth. And more than one person described it, which I thought was a wonderful way of looking at it, is as though they started to become the producer and the director of the movie of their life. And I just thought that was a great way of looking at it. And it was described by some as feeling like they'd stepped into a place that was unshakable and unmovable, even in the face of criticism. You see, you've heard the whole thing about haters are going to hate, right? On the way of achieving what you want in life and getting the things that you desire and building the business that you want and the relationship that you want and all of these areas, you're going to come across criticism. It's part of life. You know, people are different and people won't always agree with the things that you say or do or think even. So this unshakable, unmovable stance from a self perspective, from a psychological perspective, is really, really important. So in a way, it helps you absorb the criticism and not do what so often happens and get caught up in the whole thing about responding to it, because, you know, if you just think that people are doing the best they can do with what they have, then there's no need to be worrying about what other people's stories are. I mean, that's their concern, right? You've heard me say before that what other people think of you is none of your business. Well, it's the same thing here. Having that level of recognition as to what's possible and where you've come from and who you are and where you're going, it helps you feel an acceptance, really. An acceptance of who you are and an acceptance of others and of difference and of sameness, and you really become, if you like, you know, the executive of your personality, the executive of yourself, and this is about real ownership. And the impact of this is something that we've had the pleasure of witnessing bearing out in real time, because you know, the people that we took through the Power on Purpose program, we didn't just when the program was finished, we didn't just stop seeing them. We've actually had the privilege, if you like, of watching them grow and watching them progress because of how they've organized themselves in relation to this program. And we've seen some incredible changes unfolding, some successes happening. And it's a real pleasure to watch. So it clears the way. Really, the program, in a sense, clears the way, reinforces your sense of self-worth. And in a way, when you got to this stage, you might ask, okay, so what do I do then? Well, part of the program really was to then enable a loop of recognition, a nourishing, affirming loop where you were able then to continue this process yourself. One of the things I hear so often about people going for coaching or therapy or some kind of personal development is they learn something new, they put it into practice, and then they're thinking, so what do I do now? And we really feel strongly that it's not about constantly learning something new. It's about being able to manage what you have. And this is what the program has really, I know, and I've seen it, and Sandra as well, and from different perspectives, this is what it's really enabling people to do, is take charge. And we've seen some of these people, they it's like they just completely change their demeanor, their face, their expressions. They're alive and they're living, and they're feeling important, and they're finding a voice, and they're stepping up and speaking out, and they're on a constant drive then to refine their truth and carry on the journey. So this is the program, and I'm really excited to be talking about it today, because I can talk forever, but it's very specifically defined as to how these steps work. And it's been so exciting to watch the process unfold. So I'm really pleased to have had the opportunity to share it with you today. And again, get in contact with us if you want to find out more. We're going to be rolling the program out. We're going to be doing a digital version, of course, with backup, because you need the human touch, over the next few months, and bringing it really to not just the people we're working with in the UK. I mean, we've delivered the program in the UK, but we delivered programs all over the world. But we want to reach as many people as possible that can't come to an event, that that don't have the time or don't have the financial means to do that. So we're really looking forward to getting it in as many people's hands as possible, because ultimately what we're here to do is to help. And we've been doing it long enough to know that that's our path, that's our truth. We want to keep doing it as much as possible. So Marina, it's really been great to be back on the Radio Works show with you. I hope what I've been saying has resonated with you, and I hope some of it's making some sense with you, and I hope for your listeners, and those of you that I'm speaking with today, really there is a way, there is a step-by-step process, and if you want to find out more, then get hold of us, contact us. You can contact me at tom@poweronpurpose.com, and or Sandra at poweronpurpose.com. Come and visit the website, see what we're up to, join our community, and we really look forward to speaking with you soon. So thanks again, Marina. I'm sure you're still there listening, so thanks for listening once again, and I'll be back, I hope very soon with you on Radio Works. Thanks.